Leftists hate natural law because it's the only true bulwark against tyranny. Facts, facts, facts. They hate it. They hate it. They hate it. They hate natural law because with natural law, it points to a definitive right and wrong. There's a right and wrong. There are boundaries that's not supposed to be crossed, and they hate that because we can point to that and say, "Hey, you're wrong. This is what natural law states," and they hate that. So that's why they hate religion. That's why they hate Christianity in particular because we have a clear, defined a way of knowing right from wrong, and we can point to certain things, and they hate it. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. But before we get started, go ahead and hit the like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store. Also, check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for news as well. All right, let's talk about this news. Now, this comes from the Federalist, the great Ben Carlson. I love Ben Carson. I said Carlson. Sorry, Ben Carson. I love Ben Carson. I hope he's back somewhere in the Trump administration once Trump win re-election, which I believe he will win. But I digress. Let's talk about this article. Dr. Carson, I should say, reports that Politico reporter Heidi Przybyla, however you pronounce her name, appeared on MSNBC to attack a, quote, extremist element in the Republican Party that she refers to as Christian nationalism. That's the buzz term. As Przybyla explained, quote, the thing that unites them as Christian nationalists is that they believe that our rights as Americans, as all human beings, don't come from any earthly authority. They don't come from Congress. They don't come from the Supreme Court. They come from God. And thank goodness, because they want it to come from government. They want it to come from Congress because that means they can take it away. If it comes from God, they can't take it away. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they hate it so much. But this is not only an unfair attack on people of faith, it also gets wrong the entire foundation of our country's beginning and constitutional order. Our nation's founding document, the Declaration of Independence itself, cites, quote, the laws of nature and of nature's God in its central assertion, which lays the groundwork for our entire experiment in self-government. Quote, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they hate that. They hate that because it immediately gets rid of a lot of the leftist things that they're pushing. But our Constitution was written to give a guiding structure to effectuate the principles of the Declaration of Independence and create a government to protect and preserve these God-given rights. That's why the very First Amendment to the Constitution protects the right to the free exercise of religion, because our nation was founded on the idea that our rights come from God. All our subsequent constitutional principles flow from the natural order. That's all facts. I mean, this is Constitution 101. But if Przybyla, again, I apologize if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, says Christian nationalists are defined as people who believe that our rights come from God rather than government, then every single American founder, and indeed almost every American president, would qualify as an unabashed Christian nationalist. With her attacks on Christian nationalism, Przybyla flips this concept on its face. If our rights don't come from God, they must come from the government. And if the government can give us our rights, then the government can just as quickly take those rights away. And that's the same thing I was alluding to there. That's why you don't want to give government this power. The Constitution is to restrict power from government. not to restrict power from the American people. Priscilla tried to walk back what she said, but her cards were already on the table. Looking around at our country today, as the left tries to strip us of our rights to participate in free and fair elections, raise our children with our values, worship God genuinely and faithfully, speak freely in the online public square, and more, maybe it's unsurprising that they are also trying to shift our understanding of rights as a gift from God to a gift from government. And they've been trying to do this. The left's projection. But in this case, the radical left also engage in something they do often, projection. Everything they are guilty of doing, they accuse conservatives of doing first. Such is the case here with the ridiculous hysteria over so-called Christian nationalism. In reality, the left is attempting to replace Christianity with a religious movement of their own. Their political ideology has replaced religion. Unlike the truth of Christianity, which is founded on the premises of salvation through the redemptive love of Jesus Christ, their new faith is based on anger and resentment, and it offers nothing but division, misery, and dissolution. And it's a cult. It's a cult. Leftism is a cult because look what they do to anyone that disagrees with them. They don't allow any dissent, even in their own ranks. But freedom and God-given rights. It was the belief that our rights are a gift bestowed on us by our Creator that led to the founding of our nation. This belief freed the slaves, inspired the civil rights movement, and gave us the courage to liberate millions upon millions from the grip of authoritarianism in 2 world wars. Indeed, the idea that human beings are not endowed with rights by God is the foundation of every tyranny in history. Facts. Which has stripped its citizens of their dignity and their rights and their liberty. Wow. Go ahead, Carson. Our American founding, premised on the idea that our rights come from our shared creator, is a bulwark against the sort of tyranny that spring up all too frequently in other countries. If that is what we are calling Christian nationalism these days, then count me in. And I agree, Dr. Carlson. Count me in as well. You can I don't care what label you call me. It doesn't matter. I know who I am. I know who I am in Christ. I'm not worried about any type of labels people put on me. I don't believe in labels. I have some conservative views. I have some liberal views. But and everyone is different. So if you attack people on their ideals and censor people from their ideals, then you are authoritarian and you need to go. And we need to speak out and speak up against people like her, like leftists like her, that want to put labels on people because they disagree with how with what they believe. But let me know what you think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time.